welcome to the third episode of the interview series in English. My name is Aiko Hemingway, and I am an American English pronunciation coach and business coach based in Hawaii. So I have been coaching Japanese speakers who are coaches to work less and make more money. But my audience, Japanese speakers, they know English. So why not making English episodes? So this is actually the last one of the interview series in English. I'm gonna go back to speaking Japanese from the next episode for a while, but I might do English episodes from time to time. So I got to interview Natsuyo based in New York, and I got to know her through Helen. So Helen, thank you. Okay, so Natsuyo Nobumoto Lipschutz was born and raised in Tokyo, Japan. Although Natsuyo is a Japanese native, she began her career in New York and traveled over 20 countries around the world. A former McKinsey consultant, Natsuyo founded her own strategy consulting firm, Aspire Intelligence, as well as a global public speaking consultancy, Breakthrough Speaking. She has been consulting for a wide array of global companies and industries for almost 2 decades. Besides her global public speaking books in Japanese, Korean, and Chinese, she also co-authored the Amazon bestseller book, The Success Blueprint in English with Brian Tracy. So I was super excited talking with her because she is doing so many things and she has 2 businesses. So I always love talking with people who are doing a lot of things, a lot of different things, and then making great impact in the world. So I hope you get to learn so much from her business strategy and passion, and hope that you get some ideas for your own business. Okay, so enjoy the episode with Natsuyo. Hey guys, it's Aiko, and I am an American English pronunciation coach and business coach based in Hawaii. So I have a special guest on my show today. Natsuyo, thank you very much for coming to my show.
Thank you for having me. Very exciting.
I'm super excited to have you here. So Nats, would you please tell us? I already introduced you in the pre-recording, but would you please tell us a little bit more about what you do?
Sure. So I am a strategy consultant, professional speaker, and a competitive Latin dancer, a mother of 9-year-old girl who's a professional model and a figure skater, and a breast cancer survivor. Okay, so where do I start? I have 2 companies. One is strategy consulting company called Aspire Intelligence, which I started in 2004. And then I also started the public speaking coaching business in 2014. And I help global leaders improve their communication skills, especially presentation to global audience. And also for strategy consulting part of my business, I help large global companies to come up with the strategies such as we want to launch this product in this market, in this new market. What do we do? Or do we need to do mergers and acquisition to expand our business in this part of the country? What would be the strategy? So I would do the research and analysis and develop a strategy specific to that client's needs. So that's my main business. And as a professional speaker, I speak on cross-cultural communication skills, global leadership skills, and logical thinking skills. And I give keynotes, corporate trainings, workshops, and one-on-one coaching and all that.
So many things you're doing. Oh my gosh, I get really excited to meet people who say like, oh, what do I do? Where do I start? I get super excited when I hear that because I do many things too. So it's
Yeah.
always like nice to see people who are doing many things, and then
Yeah.
looks like you have a lot of passion.
Yeah, I
I felt
do.
your energy, like literally you were like, really energetic about
Yeah, I get excited
about.
about talking about my what I do.
Right, right. Okay, so yeah, where do I start? Okay, so 2004, you started your first company
Mhm.
or first business. So why did you start your own business at that time?
Yeah. Well, it's a very interesting question because I think what influenced me was my late father. He was quite a famous in his industry. He was the owner and the president and later CEO of this auto related company in Japan. And I always looked up to him, and he always talked about all these countries he traveled to and businesses he's done, and I always felt so fascinated about what he does, even though I didn't quite understand what he was doing. So I think the entrepreneurial blood is in my is in my body. So that was probably the biggest influence um, on how I started my business. But my career started with Itochi International in New York. So after I graduated from college in Japan, Waseda University in Tokyo, I came straight to New York and started working for Itochu in steel department and then paper department, so heavy industries. And then I applied to an MBA at New York University, and I spent 2 years there. And then I went to work for McKinsey in Japan as a summer intern, and then came back to New York in 2001. And September 2001, we all know what happened, 9/11. So I graduated next year with no job. And originally I was applying to all kinds of different companies, and literally I wrote over 100 cover letters saying why I'm interested in working for your company. And as I was writing 100 different cover letters, I got confused. And I said to myself one day, okay, stop. What do I really want to do? And what am I good at? And what does the market need? And then I thought, I have a consulting experience. I have a Japanese trading company experience, and I got to know all the logistics and the manufacturing side of the big industries. So why don't I combine those knowledge and experience and help Japanese company come into the US and become successful? So I wanted to become a bridge between Japan and US, and not just a bridge in terms of business, but also a cultural bridge, because this leads to why I started my speech business. But I often find that a lot of Japanese companies, even large global companies, have really successful strategy and really well-working teams in place, but when they come to different countries, somehow their communication style is different than that of that country, and they create miscommunications, misunderstandings, mistrust, and as a result, they may lose business. So I thought, I need to do something about this. As a consultant, especially as a strategy consultant, for my clients to be able to follow through their strategy, they need to communicate better. So that's how I started to go into public speaking business.
Wow, I really love your stories. Wow. Yeah, and then, yeah, so for the second business, now that you told me why you started your second business, it came from your passion, and then you understood your clients' needs and struggles and challenges. It's really amazing. You're helping so many people, right? So at the beginning of building your second business, how was it like?
Yeah, actually, going back a little bit to why I started my second business, I talked about the business needs, right? I saw some opportunities in from the business point of view, and also another reason why I started the second business, the speaking business, is that I joined Toastmasters, which is a global speaking organization in the world, right? There are more than 10,000 chapters around the world. And I joined them because I originally absolutely hated presentation. And when on the first day of my MBA class, you know, everyone introduces themselves, and I stood up and introduced myself in front of everybody. And that was the first time that I gave some speech-like presentation in English in front of people, where everyone, 40 or so classmates, so 80 eyes are looking straight at me, right? So I froze, and I don't remember what I said, but I was practicing what to say in my head, but I said something totally different, and I froze. So at that moment, I decided I'm not going to be doing any presentation. I don't want to talk. I just don't want to do it. So every time I had to do a presentation in a team, I took the shortest part and I memorized everything, every detail, and I just recited everything and just exited. So that was me. But then when I started my strategy consulting business, I had to present to my clients, and I couldn't memorize everything. I had to speak eloquently and clearly and logically on the spot. So I thought, okay, I need to do something about that. So that's why I joined Toastmasters. And then Toastmasters holds international speech contest every year. And one year they told me, okay, you compete in the speech contest. I'm like, okay. And I didn't know what it was about, but I did. And at the end of a certain round, someone came up to me and said, you have a potential, and I'm going to coach you. And I thought, wow, how generous. She's offering me free coaching. Sure, I can practice. And I practiced with her, and she totally changed my perspective of what public speaking is all about. She taught me so many things, but one thing I really remember is your message has, or your speech has some different messages. Do you want to say this, or do you want to say that, or do you want to say that? Focus on one message and narrow down and just remove everything else that's not necessary. Until then, I was thinking, in the presentation, I have to pack everything I want to say, because you never know what sticks with the audience, or the audience might be interested in so many things. So let me jump pack everything like a makunochi bento, right? But the way she taught me, her name is Janice, the way Janice taught me is, instead of a makunochi bento or a grand buffet, focus on one dish entree. What is one thing that you really want to convey in your speech? So that totally changed my perspective. And when I focused on one message, and when I really focused on how to strategically convey that message so well so that people remember, and how can I say it in a memorable way and in a very unique way that no one else can say. That's strategic thinking and strategy planning. And when I focused on that, my speech skill went skyrocketed. So I thought, I really want to share this with everybody, especially Japanese who tend to be not so great with presentation skills. So I really wanted to, well, you can see I get excited easily. So I got excited and I really wanted to share these skills. So that's why I started breakthrough speaking.
Wow, I really love that. I am a Toastmaster too. This is my fourth year in Toastmasters, so I totally understand why you joined Toastmasters and then the experience that you're getting too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you should come to some meetings in Hawaii.
I would love to. Yeah, I would love to. Actually, I was invited to speak at another Toastmasters club in Texas next month. So, I mean,
wow.
Right now everything is on Zoom, so I can go everywhere or anywhere in the world.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's exciting. Like we were meeting on Zoom, so yeah, definitely just visit some of the meetings in Hawaii. Maybe you can find a time that you can join from East Coast time.
Definitely. And in fact, my family are talking and I are talking about possibly going to Hawaii at the end of this year because Hawaii just lifted the 14-day quarantine, right? So
yeah,
I might be physically there.
That would be exciting. Yeah. Okay, so all right, so going back to the second question. So you told me another reason why you started your second business. So how was it like when you started your second business? Like, did you already know what to do to build your business, or you had to figure out your way?
Yeah, so it was different when I started my first business compared to when I started my second business. The first time, you may think it's more challenging, but first time was easier for me actually, because the way I started my business was I had some connection, personal connection, and one person came to me before I started my company. They came to me and said, well, this is what we're trying to do, and we need strategy, and I think you do some strategy thing, and can you help us? So I said, oh, actually, I'm thinking about starting my own business. So if I start my own business, would you be willing to become my first client? And I said, yes. So I had client first before I started my own company. So it's just a funny story, but I rushed to register my company legally, and I went to look for office space, and then I went back to my client and said, okay, I have a business now, so let's do it. And then it just went smoothly through word of mouth and referrals. And the second business, speaking, was a little bit different. So from through this second business, I provide online courses, webinar, and webinar is an interactive the online course, and also a recorded online course, and corporate training, and private coaching. So I had Toastmasters connections, and some of the speech contest contestants wanted me to coach them. So I got one-on-one coaching business right away. But the problem was I'm the only resource. I'm the only asset in my company. And I have to put in my time and labor to be making money. So I thought, as a strategy consultant, I immediately thought I had to create some system that allows me to make income while I'm sleeping. And I'm still working on that because it's not as easy as, okay, so I'm going to create a product and sell it. And you can't sell it right away. And you have to target the right client, the right target, and identifying your specific unique target is quite challenging. For me, my ideal target for the speaking business is global leaders whose English may not be the first language, it may be, but someone who speaks to a global audience, whether your company is dealing with overseas companies and you need to pitch to the overseas stakeholders, or your team is already culturally diverse and your meetings and your presentations are all in English and you have to present clearly. So my speaking business combines cross-cultural communication skills and public speaking skills. So my niche is global leader. But when I say that's my niche, it's a really broad market. So I'm really trying to narrow down on what segment of this global leaders is my unique niche, and I'm still exploring. So my second business is going a little slower, but it is growing among the Japanese people in the Japanese market because they recognize me already, and maybe you can see behind me, but I have 4 books now. The first one you see is a storybook that was published this year in Japan, and you can see Nichujini, the 20 Words. That's the first book I published in Japan last year. So they're both about presentation skills. And now the first book is translated into Korean. That's the green book you see. And the blue book is not about presentation skills, but it's written in English a long time ago. So my point is I have more presence in Japan, so it's easy. But when you want to target non-Japanese, or you want to expand yourself to the world, the bigger market, you really have to find your niche, and I'm still working on it.
Wow, thank you. Actually, I am building my presence in Japanese market, but I want to expand my business into English world. So yeah, I totally see that, like, oh yeah, narrowing down your niche is really important, and this is what I teach to in my business, so I should be good at it, but I am still exploring. So thank you very much for sharing that. I'm pretty sure my audience is working on narrowing down their niche, so I'm pretty sure they can relate to your story. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean, just wanted to add to it. You know, when you think of a strategy, you need to have a team. I really recommend everyone to have a team. At least a coach would be very helpful. If you have a team of a coach and the marketing person and the tech person, you know, for example, then even better, because as a non-native English speaker, trying to launch the service to the world, I need professional native English speakers who are professional in each field, whether it's social marketing, social networking platform, or online marketing. That's not my forte. So I have a team of a Japanese team based in Japan and in New York. And also separately, I have non-Japanese team based in UK. There are 5 people there working on my account. So I had a meeting this morning too to talk about a strategy, and later I'm going to talk about the upcoming brand new online program, and we were discussing how to promote it and how to word the promotional write-ups, you know. So you definitely need a team. You can't, I mean, even if you are a superwoman, you can't be everybody. So you need a team, a sidekick.
I love the message. Well, you know, I got to know you through Helen's coaching, right? And then Helen always says that, like, you need a team. Even you are a superwoman, you still need a team and you still need help. So I can see that, like we were all connected and have the same mindset.
Yeah.
Awesome. So do you have any tips for my audience who is building their own business and they're working on their like public speaking for you know to sell their products and then convey the message to their audience? Do you have any tips for them?
Okay. So most important, I mean, there are so many tips I can talk about, but if I focus on one big message, it is to focus on one big message. So what is one big message? It is the most important message that your audience want to hear. It's not about what I want to say, but what they want to say. So it's more of a you-focused, not I-focused message. So really thinking through your head to figure out, first of all, you have to be clear with who your audience is. So that's part of marketing too. So really get to know who you're talking to, their mindset, their wants and needs, and their problems and challenges, and what is it that they want from you. With that understanding, create a you-focused message, just one big message. And then with that one big message, you can build in your personal stories that leads to that one big message, or some examples, or data, or some anecdote that all lead into that one big message. So even if you talk about your stories or other things, everything has to be connected to this one big message. So focus on just one big message. That's what this book is all about. If you read Japanese, and if you're seeing the YouTube, you can see my book cover. It's 20字に削ぎ落とせ, or in English, say it in 20 words. So your important one big message should be able to come down to 20 Japanese words, or in English, 10 words. So to do that, to narrow down on your one big message, you really have to think a lot. So I use my logical thinking skills that I train myself with as a strategy consultant, and really organize my thoughts and organize the information, because there are so many pieces of information you want to convey and that you can include in your presentation. But what should go into your presentation and what shouldn't go in is just the organization of the information. So you really think, you really have to think through, and you have to be strong at logical thinking skills to be able to do that. So with that, you can finally narrow down to the core message that resonates with the audience. So one big message.
Wow, that's a really good on their niche, and then really narrowing down. I'm gonna work on it too. Like, oh my God, this is a great tip. Wow, thank you. Do you have any oh yeah, so you talked about your online course coming up. Would you please tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes. So as I mentioned, I have private coaching, corporate trainings, and recorded online program and webinars, and these are all in Japanese. I'm sorry, the recorded ones currently are all in Japanese, but this upcoming online course is a self-guided online program, and it's all in English. And there is an intro course and a master course, and it's called the Art of Persuasive Speaking in Global Business. And intro course is consisted of 5 modules, and so is the master course. In the intro course, you can learn how to clarify your message, like the basics of the one big message I just talked about. And it talks about some practical but strategic tips that you can start applying today and make a huge visible difference in your power of communication. And so at the end of the intro course, well, you should have gained self-confidence and the skills to captivate the global audience. And when you move on to the master course, I talk about how to persuade the people, even in the eyes of different cultures. And I go through something called the persuasion triad. I talk about logical thinking. I talk about storytelling, and also how to present yourself so that you appear trustworthy, and especially focusing on the logical thinking, how to use techniques to make your message crystal clear and logically sound. And also you can create the wow moments in your speech through a power of storytelling. And so you're going to equip yourself with the immersive techniques that play on the audience's emotions and logic and trust, and leading them to take action. So these programs will be launched or scheduled to be launched on November 1st. And if anyone is interested, I highly encourage everyone to sign up for my email magazine. And if you're watching the YouTube, you can see on my screen. And I'm gonna put this link later in the comment section, I guess. And if you're listening to the audio version, this is on my website, and I guess you can put the link for the podcast listeners too, I guess, right?
Yes, I'm gonna put the episode notes with this link.
Thank you. So you can subscribe to my email magazine, and you're going to be the first ones to know when it comes out. And there's going to be a special bonus when you sign up.
Wow, cool. Thank you. So I'm gonna put all the links on my end, so the audience can check out your books and all the links, and yeah, the coming up online course.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, so thank you. Oh my gosh, you shared so many tips. So thank you very much for coming to my show today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was fun.